I'll tell you something else I saw that was really scary in China. They did this test of their facial recognition software, and apparently they have, I think, almost the entire capital and the top few cities have so many cameras that they did a test where they had some guy break a law somewhere, and they get this go. And within like 8 minutes, they were able to catch the guy just by like not knowing who he was, using facial recognition and tracking the guy like 8 to 10 minutes,
right.
and they caught the guy. It was like it
One thing
reminded
that we know from history is that governments can get very good at keeping their populations in line. The other thing we know about that kind of system of government is it leaves pretty much a pile of ashes. It does not leave a better way of life. And in fact, ironically, it doesn't make you more powerful. The reason the United States won these wars, call it World War I, World War II, and all the other, is because even our military technology is part of the free enterprise system. There is innovation in that, deadly innovation, but at the end of the day, it's very difficult to compete with the United States that way. It's why a lot of historians would tell you we won the Cold War with the Soviet Union. They couldn't keep up with us and our technology. Their economy couldn't. They couldn't, people were waiting in bread lines. I went to the Soviet Union in 1985. I saw it with my own eyes.
I think a lot of that has to do with the great saying they had in the Soviet Union in the 80s and 70s. Said, well, we'll keep pretending to work so long as you keep pretending to pay us.
That's right.
In other words, without the profit motive and without capitalism, it leads to people just showing up. And I have really first-hand experience. I'll tell you a great story. So in 1993 or 4, I went to Czechoslovakia, which was just splitting to become the Czech Republic and Slovakia, right? And it had gone from, basically from socialism, communism to chaos capitalism, right? And what was happening was all these companies that had formerly been essentially supported by the state, bloated massively with employees, were now trying to downscale and survive under an actual profit and loss system without subsidies, right? So what the government had done simultaneous with that was they had issued coupons to all the citizens, and the coupons were essentially almost like a public offering of shares, and everyone got coupons, and it was essentially privatizing the economy through coupons. This is nice. So I went there with Danny, the Jonah Hill character for the movie, right? Yeah. So we went there high as kites, armed with lots of money, okay, looking to sleep with a lot of hookers and buy a lot of companies with these coupons.
My kind of guy.
All right, so corner the market and coupons and get laid at the same time.
But by the way, some of the most beautiful women on the planet.
I know, and I found the ugliest hooker with a sheepdog's face and shoulders of a linebacker. I ended up with her. Don't ask me why.
Because you're a soldier. You're a soldier.
I was taking one for the team, and I always say I shot a red, white, and blue load in her to prove that we won the Cold War.
Is it fucked up that your stock in my book just went up about 10? Anyway,
and yours and many other depraved souls out there.
Thank you, sir.
Which I know you take as a compliment. But here's the thing that's interesting, though, is that I went to these companies, and the desperation at these. There was a company called Motorkov in particular, which now is a very successful, large company. They employed, at the time, I believe 200,000 people to do a job that required probably 2,000 people. And they were in this process of downsizing and trying to cut costs to really, one of the things they would distribute was this piece of shit car called the Skoda that was made as a result of the capitalist, the communist system, socialism, right? And the car was such a piece of shit, like it would rattle and roll as you drove the car. Bottom line is the shit don't work. No. Socialism, it don't fucking work because in the absence of the profit motive, people are not going to work hard if you can't advance. It's just human fucking nature, But more than that, I believe there's another problem as well. And it's a problem inherent in all bureaucracies and also in central planning committees, is that the group just can't there's so much blockage in a group. And that's what you started saying. It's like, leave it to 10, for 100 people to decide what's fucking best.
That's right.
It just doesn't work.
No.
It's gotta be, for better or worse, there's gotta be a bunch of individuals slashing and fucking burning, and then but many are gonna be wrong and they go bankrupt. But the ones that are right build massive companies.
That's right. And it was funny, there was a venture capitalist who was talking about, there are a lot of conspiracy theories, right? The rich and famous get together and they control everything. And she tried to get, it was a funny story, she tried to get 5 billionaires together.
To agree on anything.
She wanted to have dinner with them. And every one of them was like, the one guy was like, fuck that guy. He fucked my ex-wife, that piece of shit. And the other guy said, I'm in a lawsuit with that motherfucker. I'm like, and it was just, they all hated each other. She couldn't get 5 of them at a table. Forget trying to control the world, you know? And in that sense, by the way, that is a good thing for all of us. You don't want the richest people in the world to organize that way. You want them fighting. It's kind of how our government works. Anytime anybody who tells you that the government has got these plans,
they all meet
and stuff,
in secret rooms.
Bro, any biography you wrote, you listen to the Lyndon Johnson tapes. The dude couldn't keep a secret. He was so frustrated because everybody's fucking each other over. Everybody has their own agenda. State Department, CIA, the DIA. None of them wants to. They all hate each other. And he was like, I'm going to put a one-eyed farmer in charge of my Department of Defense. I don't trust this motherfucker's leaking. He would be begging the editor of the Chicago Sun to not run stories on Vietnam. He goes, please don't do this because I'm trying to get this, and otherwise you're going to blow the secret. It's fucking great. It's like, well, there you go.
It's almost like I dated a girl back. I was actually engaged to her. She was the first and last Miss Soviet Union.
Really?
Oh yeah, she won the contest.
Wow.
She came here in 1989 and 1990. And then the country broke up, so she was the reigning beauty queen. So she still wore
non-existent country.
Yeah, so she, like, in her mind, the problem was like 10 years later, she still wore the fucking sash. So she tortured me over that. But anyway, so I met this girl, and the first night we're lying on the beach together in Southampton. We have fire going. I'm looking up at the moon, and I said, yeah, it just feels so amazing. It looks so close, you can touch it. It's amazing that we've been there. What do you mean? I'm like, well, we've been, huh? This is great hoax on Mother Russia. She read different history books.
She did.
She thought the Russians invented everything from the TV to the radio to bazooka fucking chewing gum. The Russians invented it, right? And then I mentioned, like, well, you were in World War II? No, this is not. This is Russian. This is Great Russian War. What did you use? 5 people?
Yeah.
Different books.
I'll tell you a story.
Right?
The same thing. I'm sorry. Finish the story because I want to.
No, I want to hear you, but I'll tell you after. Tell me your story.
No, but same thing. My mother was with this woman who had been in the Soviet Union in her life. She was in the United States for the first time, and she kept saying, "Well, we had that because of her pride." And then she walked into the supermarket and saw all the food and started to cry.
Right.
She started to cry.
They were read different fucking books. So she was convinced. She goes, "This is great hoax. Everyone knows this filmed in the movie studio." So I'm like, her name was Julia, all right? I made the mistake once of calling her Julia. She goes, Julia, that's a dog's name. Do not call me Julia, right? So I said, Julia. I said, you really think this was filmed in the studio? She goes, everyone know this. I'm like, no, don't fucking say no. Everyone know this. I'm like, all right, it's no's, but that's besides the point. Girl never said the word "the" in 3 years. Drove me fucking crazy. The only time she ever said the word "the," I want to go to a store, to a restaurant. The one time she said the word "the," she goes, it is beautiful. Let's just go to the Central Park. I'm like, at the wrong time, now you say the fucking word "the." Anyway, so she was hot. She's dead hot as shit. Yeah. Convinced that we never landed on the moon. So I said, Julia, let me put it this way. We live in a country. We don't got the fucking KGB here. You can't keep anything a secret. Nothing. If 2 people know, it's not a secret anymore. So just imagine, I said, just imagine now. Okay, let's just say we do this. We swear like it's 1,000 people to secrecy. The filmers, the people that built the studio, the actors, everyone, the people that built, everyone is sworn to secrecy, and nobody spills the beans. So we take the fucking spaceship, allegedly, but it's not. It's in a studio. We film it, the whole thing, and we fucking get away with it. Yeah. We get away with it. So what do? Okay, Mr. Brezhnev, now watch what we do it again. See if we went 3 times, Yulia. We wouldn't go back a second fucking time.
Right.
You brainwash.
And then please explain why the, I don't know, 3,000 or 4,000 NASA scientists, I guess they were just told to sit in the studio and pretend to work on something.
But we went back. Like, you wouldn't go back. Let me do the trick again.
You're saying this, but yet they had some poll on how many people in Europe actually believe it was a hoax.
They think it was a hoax.
It's amazing.